Meanwhile, the minority on the Communications Committee of Parliament reiterated its stance for August 7th. This is what he wrote. The Minister for Communications, Sam George, came back with a response to MultiChoice, and also the minority insisted on meeting with him to come to some form of agreement. But then this is what Sam George responded to that request. He says, "I appreciate the call by the NPP minority on the Communications Select Committee of Parliament for engagement. As Minister and an MP, I have the utmost respect for my oversight committee." He said, "I can assure the committee as a whole that the ministry would provide a full update when we complete our regulatory actions on 7th August. For the records, let me state that I met the Ghanaian management of DStv on the 27th of June this year to raise my concerns with them." And said, "I subsequently wrote to invite their headquarters management and met them on 4th of July. He said, "The meeting that was held on a holiday and at which I indicated a request of a 30% reduction and the need for DStv to deal with piracy." He also said which was being perpetrated on their platform to the detriment of Ghana, and offered to give them pictures or videos of the meetings that he had held. According to him, he says he's always approached this matter with one goal: a fair price for the Ghanaian people. DStv responded with a 9-page letter on 21st July, and he says, "If the 1-page letter annoyed you, imagine what was in the 9-pager. And then he said the policy directive is a last resort action to protect the Ghanaian public from what appears to be a recalcitrant monopoly which has become tone deaf to the cries of their consumers or customers. On the 7th of August, the regulator would initiate action in line with the terms of the License Authorization and the Electronic Communications Act, Act 775. We would act within the law and in the interest of the Ghanaian people. The reset agenda demands this action for sanity to prevail." And Sam George says, "I remain accountable to the people of Ghana in my service as Minister for God and country." Well, let's get the side of the minority who wants to mediate the impasse with the Communications Ministry as well as MultiChoice. Let's go on Zoom now and speak to the Deputy Ranking Member on the Communications Committee in Parliament, and he is Charles Redu. We are grateful for your time, Charles. So, you are wanting to meet the Communications Minister, at least. This is the response he's been given. So far, what has been your reaction to this?
So first and foremost, Mamiesi, let me say that at the outset, we totally align ourselves with the issues that the minister raised. Because if you should do a comparative analysis in terms of the cost price, the pricing of MultiChoice, it tells us clearly that across all the Anglophone West African and then the Anglophone African countries, Ghanaians are being made to pay more for the same services that are being offered to the other countries. I think that there's no justification for that, And then prior to even the minister embarking on this action, we had made our voices known individually, not collectively, by posting that we needed to watch these fees that are being charged by MultiChoice, especially after his engagement with MTN. So we from the minority side do back this call. However, our issue with the threat is that, in these matters, nobody wins, because we are not expecting a winner out of this. The winner should be the good people of Ghana. So that if a business concern, is doing business here, we should know that it's employed a lot of Ghanaians in the company. If you go to MultiChoice, there are Ghanaians here. There are a lot of, sublet jobs that they've let out to Ghanaians who go out there to install the decoders and then the dishes and whatnot. Again, they also pay taxes to the government of Ghana. We rake in a lot of money from these taxes that the company pays. We should also avert our mind to the fact that, look at the unemployment situation in Ghana. If we should allow these companies to cease operation and then Ghanaians ask to go home, the repercussions will be there on the economy, especially coming from an economy or a government that has promised a three-shift job that is unable to provide. So we hold the view that we shouldn't threaten them. We shouldn't revoke their license. For these South African companies, you know, that the kind of collaborations that they have with us. I used to be the Ghana's High Commission to South Africa, and I know the kind of work we did, you know, to ensure that a lot of South African companies come here. If you look at the banks, Absa is operating, FNB, Stanbic, MTN. Recently, I think about a year or two ago, if you recall, MTN had an issue with the GRA. GRA accused MTN of underpaying taxes.
Right.
This matter became, there was sort of a standoff between the two. At that time, I was the High Commission in South Africa. I was summoned by the South African president. In that meeting, there was a South African foreign minister. And then we agreed that this matter would have to be dealt with behind closed doors, diplomatically. So the two foreign ministers got together, you know, with the two communication ministers at the level of the minister and that of the presidency, you know, to ensure that these things did not degenerate. That's why you're able to reach me on my MTN number, because MTN is still in Ghana operating. We want to mediate. We don't want this standoff. The minister made an offer to multi-choice. Yes. Multi-choice. So far, we've not heard from multi-choice.
Okay.
Though we've cited portions of a letter that they wrote to the minister. So what we are saying is that per our letter that we wrote to the minister through the chairman of the communication committee is to set up a meeting. And so far, the meeting has been confirmed to 10 o'clock tomorrow. So we're going to have a meeting with the minister tomorrow, 10 o'clock. And then we also have a meeting with multi-choice. At the end of the day, we want a confluence of thoughts. We want the two sides to come together. Nobody wins in this move.
So
I'm looking forward to. I support Liverpool. I'm a dive, you know, supporter. Next, that's the Premiership League, and I'm looking forward to that. So we would subscribers would not want the licenses to be revoked.
But Charles,
we say this. We also don't want us to be fleeced. You get it? We also don't want us to be fleeced.
Yes.
We don't want people to also take Ghanaians for granted. That, as for Ghana for the many thing, as compared to now, if you go to Nigeria, they can't do this in Nigeria. But for Ghana, no, we don't want that. So we want an amicable solution to this, so that at the end of the day, it becomes a win-win situation.
Well, the minister has indicated that, I mean, he has an entrenched position, so does multi-choice. Multi-choice says the decision is untenable. 30% prices reduction is not favorable to them. Like you said, they may lose workers, and the operations will be difficult to execute. Well, the minister also says that you have to reduce it by August 7th, and he's not even meeting you until that date. He still insists on August 7th. If multi-choice doesn't go ahead to reduce the prices, then that means that you're not going to watch your favorite match that is upcoming. And so I'm asking you, do you think there's any light at the end of the tunnel between now and Thursday to be able to save the situation before the minister takes action? We have just 2 days, really, just 2 days.
Yeah, trust me, Mamiesi, individually and collectively, we've engaged the minister. Honorable Sam George is not that person who will not listen to wisdom. I individually have had, occasion of traveling with him, representing Parliament, and then collectively, recently, I think last week Friday, we also met, to discuss other issues. He's somebody who listens. So I don't think that he knows the repercussions of this if the company decides to fold up and go. Likewise, the company also knows the repercussions, because they are making money. It's a profit-making business. So we need to move from the 0 points that each of them is standing now, to a center where we can do business, and that's what we expect, to happen tomorrow. Trust us, I'm totally confident. I'm clear in my mind that after our meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock, good reason will prevail.
Time for joining us this morning. We hope for a fruitful meeting with the communications minister. Well.